Hey, my name is Wyatt with Farm Stew, and today we're going to be building tippy taps out of the Module 5 Farm Stew recipe manual. So let's get started. First thing what we're going to do is we're going to get 3 sticks. This is going to be an in-ground tippy tap, so there are mobile tippy taps that you can move around. However, these will be stuck in place with these 2 sticks into the ground. So here we're at Hart Village in Florida, and they have a lot of bamboo, so we're going to be using bamboo for this. However, wherever you are throughout the world, you could use sticks of any caliber. So these are kind of thinner. Usually we'd prefer them to actually be bigger. It's a little more sturdy, a little bit stronger. And so I'm actually going to also pound these in the ground, because if you look, we're in some nice, really soft sand. So it's nice and easy to dig it down. So what I'm going to do is use a custom-made mallet. You can't find this at Home Depot. We're going to take this and we're going to start pounding it in the ground. Now, if you're somewhere else, you can also use a shovel to dig down. You can use gravel to help support it. It just depends on what's needed in your environment and in your village and community. I want to sink this at least, I would say, 1 foot into the ground. This needs to be nice and stable. We're going to be holding about a liter or 2 liters of water in a container at a time. So it needs to be able to support that and it rocking back and forth. So now we're going to look at the distance between the 2 sticks that we're going to put here. I would say make it about 1 meter apart. You want it to be wide enough where you can fit your whole body in, but not too narrow, because that might make it difficult to use. So let's go for 1 meter. You can play around with the size and see what you like as you're making these. Now it's time to make our cross section, our horizontal piece. So we're going to attach this right here, right behind these. And since we don't have a branch that has a Y in it, you would usually rest that in right here. However, because we don't have that, we're going to use some twine, rope, string, vines, whatever you have to tie around it.
What you want to do is start by taking a length of rope about 2 meters long and folding it in half. So you've got a loop, a bight of rope here. Then you want to come around and take about 1/2 meter or 1.5 feet of this length of rope, and you want to just begin crisscrossing this back and forth. So you bring your loop and you start with doing a simple crisscross, and then we'll come around and come back down, crisscrossing the opposite way. And what this will create is a locking bight. Now you bring it back around and you loop down so you have just a small loop remaining. Then you feed both ends of the rope through and you snug this back and around until that is very tight. Now with these loose ends, you want to come down and then just snug in between the vertical piece and the horizontal piece once or twice more. I think that should be good. And then you separate your rope, bring it on top, and you want to just tie a very simple square knot to start. And that is an easy one to hold your position. You snug that down. And to make sure it doesn't loosen, you put a finger on top. Then you tie another square knot, which is a little tricky with one hand, but not too bad. So then you want to just have someone help you by holding this rope, and then you just tighten it down like that. And that creates a self-locking bond, so that the harder you push down, the tighter the knot becomes. So that's another method to creating a tippy tap when you only have straight sticks without a V in top to rest the horizontal stick in.
As you're making this, you want to make sure that your stick in the middle is horizontal. Let's see if this is horizontal, because what's going to happen is there's going to be a string attaching a jug of water, and we don't want that string to be sliding back and forth between the two. So mine looks pretty good. In fact, I do want to lower this side just a little bit. Let's get our jug and start getting that ready. So right off to the side here, I have an old bleach jug. What I want to do is get this nice and washed out. You don't have to use something meant for water. This is for washing hands, but we do need it to be clean. So this gallon of bleach, or this however large amount of volume with this bleach was, it was washed out. We don't want to be putting bleach onto our hands. You can do the same with detergents, with things previously used for cooking oil or anything else. You may want to be careful with things that would be damaging, like carcinogens, like motor oils, and other cancerous items. Beware of using those. We're going to take our jug, we're going to tie around a 3-foot piece of rope, a little string of rope or vine, around the handle like so. So I'm going to put this in here. Now if you want to watch what I'm doing here, I've doubled the rope. I'm just going to pass it through and let it catch right there. Now we're going to take that and we're going to tie it up again right in the middle of our stick that's going horizontally. Now that that's done, what we're going to do now is puncture our holes into our jug. Here, we have a lighter. However, you may have matches where you are, or a campfire, or just a fire pit in general. You need a source of heat is recommended, but not necessary. We're going to want to use a rounded tip to poke into this bottle, like let's say a nail or a sharp pen. For here, we only had a screwdriver. This is a Phillips screwdriver. It's pretty dull, but when we heat this up, it should be able to puncture, and it's got rivets, we should be able to move it around. However, wouldn't recommend using this. A nail would be much better. We're gonna make the first puncture. This is gonna allow air to escape when we're tipping this over, the tippy tap. We're gonna make that first puncture up right about here. I'm going to heat this up. And let's make our puncture. Okay, now that we got our air hole in, we're going to make the second hole. This time it's going to be for the water that's going to come out and come onto our hand. So we're making this second hole. We want to make sure it's going to be towards the side. So what's going to be happening is we're going to connect a string right here that's going to bring it down. We're going to have a foot pedal. We're going to build that in a second. We want that hole to be off the side. Otherwise, we're going to be dribbling water all over our feet. And you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. So let's make this second hole. So not only did I make it off to the side so that our feet won't be dribbled on by the water coming out, but I also made it low and towards the end, because this is going to be tipped up. You can watch the water come out right now. It's going to be tipped up and water is going to come pouring out. So next, let's get the string. Let's tie some string around here and get our foot pedal set up. Let's attach our string to the lid. So some bottles this may or may not work. Our concern is that this lid might pop off, but since this is a pretty well locking lid, it's okay to put it around the spout here. If need be, you can also put it around the handle right here. But for now, we're going to put it around the lid. After tying it to our lid, we're gonna bring it down to our foot pedal. I would say make your foot pedal about at least a ½ meter long. Any shorter, it probably won't be as effective and you're gonna get a lot of water on your feet. Having a little bit longer is not bad. I would say err on the side of it being longer. Also tie it somewhat higher because as you use water out of the tippy tap like this, it's going to start to drain and drain and drain, and you're going to have to press further and further down. So make it a little bit higher so you have a lot of leeway to push that foot pedal down. Now that our tippy tap is almost complete, we need to have a dispenser for soap or for ash, depending on where you are. So for this instance, we're gonna be using a water bottle. I'm gonna be cutting the water bottle in half to about this size, and then poking 2 holes in it to attach it to our sticks. So I'm curious what you're gonna come up with for holding soap and ash. What's gonna work in your area? Gonna be feeding through the twine or rope through this, our little soap dispenser here. If I can find my holes. There we go. Now that I have my rope fed through, we're gonna attach it to our tippy tap. And the location in which you attach it could vary, but for right now, we're just gonna attach it right here. And you'll notice on this tippy tap we built, there's all kinds of twine loose. If you look right here, look at all of this, look at this stuff right here. Ideally, you'll wanna cut this off. It's loose and get in the way, it can easily be pulled and untied. For right now, we're just leaving it because we're just making a model. We'll go ahead and stick our soap here inside our little soap holder. How convenient. All right, now what do you want to do? Get your hands, I'm gonna model how we want to do this. Let's get our hands wet with our brand new tippy tap. Get some soap up. What is that, 20 seconds of washing, I believe? Getting under the nails, in between the hands, all around the back side of the hands. Making sure I get all underneath the nails. Once I'm all soaped up, I can pour some water out, and let's get my hands nice and clean. Get this detergent and soap off. Maybe you want to attach a towel to your tippy tap. That's up to you. We don't have one for today, but it might be a nice accessory to have. So this is a tippy tap. It's a handless washing station. It's super cheap to make. You could find these resources in the jungle, in the forest, all around you, wherever you are. And all you need are just a few supplies and a little bit of creativity. So thank you for joining us as we learn how to make this. And I look forward to seeing other people use this across the world with the potential it has.